I truly believe that NXT is must-watch television, wrestling television at least, every single week. Every time I watch NXT, I, one, am thoroughly entertained. Two, I know the people and I can see that they've got better week to week, and they're in making me want to invest in them. But three, they make you want to watch next week. The flow of the shows goes so well into each other, and it's done so well that we're kind of talking about this with the Raw going down to 2 hours, is that it makes 2 hours feel like one, which is how a good wrestling show should be.
Yeah, well, and they've come a long way, as we've talked about, because
Long way.
I don't even know if you would say, I mean, we just everybody I think just refers to it as NXT now. It's not NXT
No.
2.0 or
Yeah.
whatever. And I think that they've earned that right, I guess we could say, because they were trying to rebrand and redevelop the entire point of having NXT, and that was why Vince was like, let's do this and let's get a new logo and blah 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 blah. And it's like, okay, none of that really worked. I think some of it was just kind of like learning how to go about things from Shawn Michaels, because yeah, I guess it's good to go into it and be like, okay, let's rebrand with a new person taking over and calling the show, whatever. Like all of that works and that benefits them, because then they don't have to try to replicate what someone did before them. But I also feel like he kind of took over at a chaotic time because of everything that ended up happening with Vince, and then like Triple
The
H is taking
world.
over, and it's like, what are we doing? And the pandemic, and it's like everything was just a mess. So now I think that he's definitely hit his stride. And there's a reason why NXT numbers are consistent like every single week. Like they're not competing with Raw or SmackDown numbers, but
No, they don't
there
need to.
are plenty of people on that roster that if they had a dark match on one of the main event shows, or if they were a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble, like people would be excited. You know, if Oba
Mm-hmm.
Femi shows up as a royal entrant, like people are going to lose their mind. And that
You
says a
talking about my
lot,
dog? You
you
talking about
know,
my dog, Obafemi?
because it's like,
I'm obsessed with
if you said this maybe like 2 years ago, there really wasn't anyone that people would be like,
no.
oh, but there, you can tell that the Raw and SmackDown audiences are actually paying attention much more, it seems,
Much more.
what's going on in NXT than they had. So that's like a really good sign for this, whatever NXT is doing, but also the future.
Let's put it, sum it up pretty nicely. The Heritage Cup, when it came over, okay, I thought it was the dumbest fucking thing. I was like, what do we fight? It's a trophy. How do we make that like a championship? Whatever. They've made it so, they've done so well in making it legitimate by having the no quarter catch crew, William Regal's son, Charlie Dempsey, take it and then be, creating his own little group there, and making it more about the wrestling. It's the wrestling
Mm-hmm.
championship, but it's not a championship. And then having the family be involved, which the family I thought was just another Hollywood trying to be mafioso. But I'm fully invested in Tony D'Angelo and Rizzo.
I
I
think I think they're
Spitfire.
kind of transitioning a little bit to being more of a character that, or a group or whatever, that might have more success on the main roster than if they just stuck with being like the Sopranos, a copy. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that was something that I was saying, like, yeah, it might be entertaining right now, but that doesn't strike me as the type of character gimmick that's going to last on the main roster, because we've seen
Mhm.
more of the theatrical, or I don't know how to say it, like those types of gimmicks don't work from
Yeah.
NXT to Raw and SmackDown. And that's why they flop, or they have to go back down to NXT and like refigure it out. Like we said it with Wendy Chu, like that's not going to work on Raw and SmackDown. They're going to have to figure something out. So I think that they're doing a pretty good job with the family to kind of make it something that can actually last long term and not be so like gimmicky. If I don't know if I'm like
No,
saying it.
you're explaining it right.
Yeah.
Did you see that Wendy Chu will be taking on Jordan Grace at Victory Road for
I
the
did. I'm
Knockouts
like
Women?
not sure how I feel about it, but I mean, good
It
for
may
her, I
just be
guess.
no, great for Wendy Chu. She's getting some sort of championship opportunity. I wish I cared more is the nicest thing I can say.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Nathaniel, not nice of you saying that my haircut makes me look like the Hulk Hogan.
Oh,
We
gee.
say that was very rude of you. It was really rude of you. I'm not gonna lie.